In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the best Premiere Pro export settings for 2026. Now, primarily in this video, I'm going to be going over YouTube export settings, but you can apply this to pretty much any type of horizontal video export out of Premiere Pro. Let's dive in. So I'm inside Adobe Premiere Pro, and once you have your final video ready to export, one thing you want to do before you export is to make in and out markers on your timeline. So make sure your playhead's at the beginning of your sequence, click I on your keyboard, then go to the very last frame of your video, click O on your keyboard to make an out point. Then navigate to the Export tab at the top left of Premiere Pro, and make sure the range is set to source in and out. And this uses that in and out when we export our video. All right, let's take a look at some of the settings. On the left, you have destinations. For the most part, we'll just be a media file here. But like I said earlier, for YouTube, if you want to upload and publish directly to YouTube, you can turn this on and fill in the settings to the right of that to sign into your account. But for now, we're gonna export this out locally just to show you the settings that you want to set up here. So from the format for YouTube specifically, H.264 is the recommended format. I know a lot of people are talking about H.265, but when it comes to YouTube specifically and a lot of online platforms, they compress and re-encode the video anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Also, H.265 is limited on some devices and requires a lot more computer power to play back these type of videos. And H.264 is more of a legacy format that's pretty much universal at this point, so I like still sticking with this even in 2026. Then from the preset, for now, I'm going to choose Match Source Adaptive High Bitrate, and this just matches the source of my sequence that I created inside Premiere Pro. Once you choose your format, you can choose your file name. So by default up here, it chooses the name of your sequence. If you want to rename it to maybe Podcast Final, you can always do that as well. And then the location. So where this is being saved to, you can always click on this and choose a new location. For now, I'm going to go to my Downloads folder. Now we can go into the Video tab to make more advanced changes. First, you have the basic video settings, so you can see your frame rate, frame size. All of these should match your sequence, but if you ever need to make changes, you can always uncheck this and click on a different resolution if you wish. But for now, I'm going to leave that all the same. If we scroll down, you have more advanced settings here. First, you have render at maximum depth. You can turn this on just to be safe. This is helpful to turn on to maybe reduce banding and just takes full advantage of your color depending on your video codec of your image. You can also choose to turn on use maximum render quality. This just ensures based on scaling inside your project that the maximum render quality is being used when you export your video. You can ignore render alpha channel only. This is really only for visual effects work. For time interpolation, you can leave frame sampling on. And then for encoding settings, you have performance. If hardware encoding is an option, I would choose that. Otherwise, you're going to have to choose software encoding. Hardware encoding is just a little bit faster because it uses the computer's GPU rather than the CPU. Then you have profile. I typically uncheck this and choose high. High is for anything high definition or higher, and main is for standard definition video. For level, I usually leave that alone because as you make changes to the resolution and the other settings, this will automatically update. And then export color space is already set to Rec 709, so we're good there. We can skip the HDR graphics for now and scroll down to video bitrate. So when it comes to video bitrate, you have three different settings. You have CBR, VBR 1 pass, and VBR 2 pass. With CBR and VBR CBR is constant bitrate and VBR is variable bitrate. You can kind of think of bitrate as how much data is in your video files. So when we take a look at this, constant bitrate will be the same amount of metadata or file information throughout your whole video, where VBR will vary depending on what's on screen. So it will carry more information for more complex scenes and less information for maybe a black screen or less information on the screen. And 1 pass just means that it's going to export it out once, and 2 pass means it's actually going to double export and export it twice for more accuracy. I like choosing VBR 1 pass for YouTube specifically. I think it does a great job. And then you have the target bitrate. So this is basically how much information and data is being stored in your video. And basically, the higher the number, the more information that's stored, and the lower the number, the less information that's stored. And the lower the number, the lower the resolution or the lower the quality that you're going to see in the final output. So for YouTube specifically, I like somewhere between 10 to 20, and this can really apply for other social media platforms as well. And if you're in a 4K timeline, I recommend 30 to 40, maybe 35. So those are the two options that I would adjust depending on your own resolution of your video. But those are the video settings. You can go down to audio. A lot of these I leave by default. You have the multiplexer, which I usually leave on default. You can choose to burn in captions to your video in this tab. In this case, I don't have captions. Under effects, you can choose to add other effects if you wish. I usually don't, but just know that these are here for you if you need them. You also have metadata. I like to include markers. That way, if I ever re-import my video or exported video, it actually shows up in the source monitor, which is pretty cool. And then you have general, and usually I don't leave any of these on. So that's pretty much all the tabs there. Once you have your settings locked in, you can either choose to export directly out of Premiere Pro or to send it to Media Encoder. You can send it to Media Encoder if you have several videos that you want to export at the same time, or if you want to continue editing maybe on a different project or in the same project on a different sequence. But either way, that's how you can export your video out of Premiere Pro. Now, if you're new to Premiere Pro, there's several tutorials on my channel. I will leave one that you might like linked right up there. Feel free to go check that one out. But that does it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.